Oh, very much, Dash. Welcome back, everybody, to another weekend of the LCS. I'm Captain Flowers, that's Azael, and behind us, we have Golden Guardians and 100 Thieves ready to go head-to-head. They were talking about the jungle, Pride Stalker versus Closer, and to me, man, these are two of the most exciting guys to watch in the jungle here in the LCS.
I feel like the jungle pool in general is so stacked in the LCS this year that has been really, really fun to watch. Closer has been an absolute beast. Pride Stalker has been getting a lot of respect, a lot of attention because of all his assassin jungle play. No bans towards it this time around, though. He had been actually drawing a lot of bans. You know, had Zed banned against him, has had Talon banned against him, has had Kiana. You know, all of these different ones that he has been playing. But this time around, that is going to get nixed immediately as they'll just grab Xin first.
Yep, that Xin Zhao pick, we've seen this be popular. We've seen this be meta, played by pretty much everybody under the sun. Real quick, going through the bans, since Champ Select is already underway. Karma, Jarvan, Caitlyn banned out by Golden Guardians. Zeri and Gwen, those permanent red side bans remain in play, as Tom Kench is also banned out by the Thieves. First two picks, locking in Corky for mid and Jinx at 80 carry.
Scaling, scaling, scaling. 100 Thieves does feel like they're kind of going back towards this team fighting style. Where someday was playing, you know, more largely on the other side of the map, playing kind of weak side, up there to just be a rock and be able to get towards the later stages of the game where he can enable 100 Thieves big carries on the bottom side, FBI and Abadaga.
Well, we've got the Aphelios locked in. They see the Jinx on the enemy team. It feels like we get this matchup between these two 80 carries quite frequently. Leona's going to be the support there with him. Oftentimes you see Aphelios like to have a defensive option with his support, Thresh being one of the most popular ones that can help make up for the fact that he has no escapes, no mobility. But Leona could just help you lock down and blow everybody up fast.
And it is really interesting because Huhi is not a guy that goes to Thresh as often as some of the other supports. So I'm wondering, you know, were they kind of trying to call the bluff and say, you know, you don't want to play Thresh anyway, so we're actually going to grab the Leona, take away something that you would have gone for. But very, very curious to see that it was actually skipped over because Olay is a big Thresh player. You know, it is one of his best champions, and to see them give that away is a bit curious. But to me, I guess it just means that they want to have him be their primary engage, not really more of the follow-up, which is usually kind of how Thresh plays. Or looking for picks. Leona is that go button, and if you're not going to draft that for any of your soul lanes on the Golden Guardian side, well, it makes sense to go for Leona here.
Well, we do have ourselves a bit of a mismatch here in the first half of the draft, although both teams did pick 80 carry and support. It's a jungler on the Golden Guardians side. It's a mid laner picked up on the 100 Thieves side, which means the bans are going to look a little bit different in terms of where they focus. 100 Thieves already banning out the Rise there from the mid lane. We've seen this rise in popularity. We've also got the Olaf banned out by the Golden Guardians. This is one of those champions that can just stat check Xin Zhao and just duel him straight to death. Get that one off the table. Victor banned out by 100 Thieves as well, making it double mid-lane bans here in the second half.
And if they want to protect their jungle more, you know, I think a Trundle ban could make some sense here as well. It's not really a closer special, but that is one of the matchups that a lot of junglers do like into Xin. You can actually duel out very effectively against Xin, and even, you know, in the later stage, to just pillar him out of fights, make it very difficult for him to play. Instead, it will be the Poppy, and Trundle's going to get locked in.
That was instant. As soon as they see the opportunity, jump on it.
I mean, this is just one of those champions that when you talk to a lot of junglers, like Kobe is always talking about this as his go-to matchup. When they see Xin, they lock Trundle, and it's just kind of an instant duo they want to be able to kind of have. It also pairs very well, I think, with both Thresh and Corky. You can set up with the pillar for hooks. You can set up for Corky rockets and poke, you know, with that pillar as well in the later stages. It can be very difficult to actually deal with. You can even just start kind of dipping out of your Q and W max early and going extra points into pillar if it's going to be a team fighting game, because having that slow is going to make it very, very difficult on the other side. But pretty interesting picks, Zillion as well as the Gnar. So more Zillion coming in. We got the one from Fudge. It's more than just Bjergsen. It's interesting because still globally, it is not that popular as a mid lane pick. And it's not that popular, period, but it is becoming very popular in North America. And sometimes this is one of those things where, you know, one person can kind of push something to the forefront because Bjergsen is showing people how strong this pick really is in competitive play. A lot of people are going to be going to it. And Zillion's great in multiple roles in solo queue, so it makes sense that more people are putting in the time to learn the champ.
And even in the context of there doesn't seem to be an answer found here in North America to it, Bjergsen keeps bringing it out because his opponents are unable to answer. Well, that just means that, hey, Bjergsen's already done the scouting for you. He knows that other mid laners in North America in the LCS can't answer this. So, hey, even if you can't answer it, why not just play it yourself? Why not just put that pressure on the enemy teams yourself? The Gnar there in the top lane locked in for him too. This has been a staple pick in top for a long time. Just feels like one of the default go-tos. That'll be up against the Jace of 100 Thieves.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. And globally, as far as the major regions, if you're talking only top leagues, there's really not that many plays of the Zillion so far this year. And Bjergsen has 5 of them, so it's going to be interesting to see how it does exactly work out here for them. Yeah, mid is the only reason. Like he's the only one that has actually played. Him and Fudge are all 5 of the major region mid lane Zillion games. So Ablaze Olive is going to be jumping in, adding that 6th play. Still all of them in the LCS, and it's becoming kind of this LCS special pick.
And that's fun to see. I enjoy seeing these regionalized pocket picks that end up just becoming something else you got to keep in mind when you're talking about that region specifically. Let's see if Golden Guardians can do it, man. Currently 2-2 in the standings. 100 Thieves sitting on a 3-1 coming into week 3 here. You saw the entirety of the analyst desk predicting the 100 Thieves win here on this one. They got the powerful scaling. There do seem to be more options for the engage by a significant margin on the side of the Golden Guardians. You have the ability for Licorice to go in with a big Mega Gnar. You have Pride Stalker who can jump in. Ole, you already mentioned, as the go button. And on your screen right now in the bottom left, ladies and gentlemen, a good personal friend of mine, Papa Smithy, the GM of 100 Thieves. And if you don't recognize the man beside him, allow me to introduce you to General Sniper, one of the most promising up-and-coming young talents here in the North American region. #1 on the solo queue ladder at the end of last season, I believe. Talk about climbing the damn thing. He had to go up 100 different stories and he got there. And they're here supporting 100 Thieves today.
I mean, they're becoming like one of those sports families, where everyone goes pro, like Viper's pro.
Oh, yeah,
Ace
man.
Gonna go pro. I know they have another brother as well that I think is also super high rated. So really talented family as far as the League of Legends does go. Going to be excited to see when he eventually makes his way to the LCS, as everyone I think is kind of expecting.
Well, let's see how this one's going to shake out right now, as both of our junglers have started on the bottom half of the map. That means we'll be pathing north, and we'll end up maybe seeing a fight over the Scuttle Crab, maybe not. Down here in bottom lane, again, we're going to be keeping eyes on Huhi, because like you already mentioned, this was not one of the picks that you would expect him to want to play as much as something like a Leona, so that means that they're essentially daring 100 Thieves to play the Thresh at the high level.
Yeah, and I mean, he does play it, just it's not one of the ones that you think of as kind of his big picks. It was his 4th or 5th most played last year. He played it 7 times. So he has some games under his belt, but it's not really his go-to, where a lot of other supports, if Thresh is open, they're first locking Thresh immediately. They really love that pairing. Thresh Jinx as well as Thresh Aphelios kind of has been those primary pairings that people have been going for really in the LCS and across the world kind of all this year. So it was left up, and we're going to see if Ole can kind of make good on it with that Leona.
Now, one thing I also do want to point out here, difference in summoner spells with our AD carries, they both have strong CC that they have to deal with from the enemy support, but the difference here is the fact that Lost really only has to deal with that hard CC coming out from Huhi. The rest of the champions on 100 Thieves don't offer it, so he has gone with the heal as opposed to the cleanse. So a bit more direct combat power in these bot lane 2v2s there for the side of Golden Guardian.
I think it makes a lot of sense, especially when you're looking forward towards team fighting. It's very difficult for the Thresh to hook past those people, past the Leona, past the Xin, past the Gnar, to actually do anything about this. And Closer going to be getting aggressive, but it looked like Pride Stalker was able to grab that, so nicely done by him. Securing with the smite does mean he has to at least force out that smite, though. So Closer is going to be able to steal away the blue, probably, unless he can get some assistance on this. But it's difficult, because as Licorice, if you move away from that wave, that is this fat stacked wave under your tower, you are guaranteed to lose so much for just the chance at being able to take that blue away.
And I love the coordination there from 100 Thieves, recognizing that, saying, hey, you lose the wave or you lose the blue, one way or another, something's not coming up your way here. Licorice is about 200 HP, not looking too great. They're ready to lead the charge here. Minions are underneath the turret. Licorice decides to jump forward. He's putting the pressure on to Someday. The Gnar bar won't charge, and first blood over to the 100 Thieves top laner.
Nice try there by Licorice. I mean, maybe if he gets that last auto off with the hyper proc, he could have potentially traded the kill onto Someday, but not quite able to do it. And Someday did such a good job softening him up. They were able to pull off that dive.
Oh, Ole going in here in the bot lane. FBI pulled to safety. Oh, turn, but FBI. Oh, he's at 100 HP, but it's Huhi getting the kill on Lost. And 100 Thieves turn it around, 2v3.
He flashed right in, tried to go for the big play there. Straight into the waiting arms of Huhi, though. He ends up giving over a freebie. Not only does he not get the kill, it's going to mean the FBI can stay around, actually farm up this wave, and his jungler was there, so that one hurts for sure from Lost.
Those feel so bad because that was your active choice to engage in that fight. The game could have continued onward 0-0 here in this lane. Those are the ones that you're hitting yourself over later on.
Absolutely. I mean, it goes from them being up summoners and, guaranteed pressure. Like, they just had to walk up to the tower with him at low health and the Xin there, knowing that Trundle is topside. And you can, at the very least, pressure FBI off the tower and take an incremental advantage with summoners down, threaten a regank. Now, instead, he flashes in, he uses his heal, he's down sums, he dies, and he's the one who's going to have to really be worried about the repeat visit here if Closer comes down to that bottom side.
Closer still hanging out around the top here. I never actually saw the recall animation on that Trundle skin before. That's pretty badass how he sprouts the wings and breathes the ice out. I really like that one. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that one. Speaking of flying home, we got both of our mid laners flying back into mid here. Those teleports have been used for the first time here. A Blaze Olive will be the first of our solo laners to hit level 6 with Abadaga right behind him. And this is what I judge Zilean play off of, really. It's not your bomb placement. It's not your last hitting. These things are very important. But your ability to recognize when the ult is necessary and properly manage it, not wasting it and giving your opponents the opportunity to back away.
Yeah.
And you already mentioned how, Bjergsen's 4 plays, Fudge is 1. This is going to be a Blaze Olive's first. That's the thing I'm going to be looking for. When these team fights break out, how does this man perform on Zilean, where your perception and your ability to predict is so important?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that is the most obvious thing when you're watching. I would say there's a lot of little things with Zilean, though, that, when you start to play it a lot, you really can realize, how they actually use the cooldown reset. Are you going to speed yourself up, actually, use your W to catch up to someone, and then you're not going to be able to use your double bomb, but maybe you can speed yourself up to catch up, and then you W to actually slow them down so your teammate catches up. Is that better? Is it better to actually hold on to the W and just try to catch up and not use the slowdown to get a double bomb? Like, all these little things about the order of spells can actually make such a big difference in skirmishes, where it can be the difference between catching someone and getting a free kill, or maybe not at all. Because if you use the reset not for double bomb and purely just for speed up and slow down, then you get counter ganked, you can lose these fights. So there's lots of little things and lots of little tricks that really good Zilean players make it look so easy because they're constantly making the correct decision over and over and over.
Well, Closer goes after his own blue, but the Golden Guardians have him figured out. A quick 3-man invade to put GG on the board.
Nicely done. A good kill there. They're going to be able to actually take away this bottom side scuttle as well. And while there was that kill on top side, it was Pride Soccer who's just kind of farming it away. Is going to be feeling pretty good about his position in the game already. Yes, Lost did die earlier, but he got a kill back here, and the wave's going to be pushing towards them. So he's going to be up in gold over FBI, and they're going to be really happy about where that gold did go.
And back here in mid lane, talking about gold, and back to your previous point about the small things with Zilean, one of the minor things that I mentioned when I was talking about it's not as important as the ultis is just last hitting on this champion. He has a clunky auto attack animation. He has a big AoE as his main spammable skill. It's really easy to screw up your own last hits, but when we're looking at the farm here in mid lane, a Blaze Olive 75, Abadaga 78, that feels good.
Absolutely. And he did get to see what Abadaga was playing before he picked it, so he wasn't picking it into a strong early game champion. He's playing it in Corki, and then Corki said, all right, I can't punish you, so I'm going Cull, and I'm just going to use scaling as kind of my weapon. Both of them are playing Gathering Storm, so it's not going to be, the most action-packed slugfest mid lane there. It's Gathering Storm, Tier, Cull, Corki. So, you don't have to kind of really knock Abadaga for not creating a CS advantage in this lane, but definitely credit to a Blaze Olive for clean farming. Because if you don't know the damage thresholds of the bombs, especially when you're getting pushed in, it's very easy to mess up your last hitting under tower.
Right, because we know the minions are designed in a way that it's like, hey, the tower gets them down to last hittable, but if the bomb screws it up, well, all of a sudden you're going to find yourself out of luck, just like Abadaga is here in the river. 2-2 tied up with the Golden Guardians finding another one, And, my friend, that is just the cherry on top of the cake that is the Rift Herald they'll be able to secure now, too. Ole goes in, looking for a potential engage here in the bot lane, 2v2. Wants to get the Q, and he finds the stun. Follow-up ulti coming out from Lost, but it ain't going to lead anywhere. A Blaze Olive with the flash over the wall.
He's got no mana for ult.
Ready to follow. There's no way out. The man has no mana. Closer gets the kill.
Man, and they still haven't even killed the Rift Herald. It's been going on forever.
Done. Someday is now trying to stop the Golden Guardians from securing the Herald, and Closer has made his way up to the fight now as well. I said they were going to have the cake, but no, it's 100 Thieves eating dessert. Closer picks up the Herald.
Oh my God, it's crazy up on this top side. After all of that, 100 Thieves actually ends up way ahead. You know, up 1.5k gold as well as the Herald. That is a really big deal. It seemed like Golden Guardians just didn't respect the fact that 100 Thieves could actually potentially contest there. And as a result, just kind of haphazardly were trying to collect the wave, take the Herald, do all these things at once. And they end up getting punished big time for it. You know, Blaze Olive just not keeping track of his mana there. A few too many spells used. He flashes over, but Closer, he had his eyes on the mana pool. When Zillion has no mana, he's not going to be able to ult himself. So ends up using the flash, does end up going down here. He's very low on mana, and does he just use Double Bomb probably on the wave, double bomb himself to clear the wave, and now he has no mana whatsoever. And I guess he must not have been on cooldown, or maybe just had to regen the mana, but yep, the ulti in there, the red buff, challenging smite coming through, does get the kill onto him. And he was just trying to be able to push out the wave, plus take the Herald, but obviously not respecting that Closer could have killed him off there, and now they kind of lose a lot, because they lose Herald, they lose blue buff, and they have a death.
And that feels like the second unforced error of this early laning phase here in the game from Golden Guardians. The first being the overdive bottom from Lost. Now you've got this overextension here. Now up in the top side, Licorice in danger of a potential solo death here against Someday. Will manage to get himself away. The Narbar fully charges on that one, and he does get the extra HP to keep himself alive, but Golden Guardians are going to have to stop having these errors because this is costing them, my friend.
It is. I mean, that one was really close to a solo kill. Thankfully, he won't lose much because he has his TP, and somebody had already TP'd back. But Ole now caught out on the bottom side, and Pax is there. You don't want this fight.
Oh, man, this fight is so bad for the Golden Guardians. 100 Thieves immediately kill the enemy jungler. That means there is no smite to contest the Drake thereafter. They already got the first one nice and early, so they're going to have a 2-0 Drake lead before 12 minutes.
Yeah, it just seemed like they're not really on the same page. Licorice TV is back. He's just going to be sent right back to base, if not in a body bag.
Woo! That's not good, man. You use the teleport, you're immediately ready to go right back home again. Abadaga going forward to Blaze Olive at 400 HP. Golden Guardians just feel like they're getting knocked around anywhere the camera goes.
They are, man. I mean, 100 Thieves now is getting so much momentum here. There it is, just setting up with the pillar for the skill shots, trying to poke him out. They're only going to be able to get the 2 plates because they hadn't really gotten any chip damage down, but they're close to the third. Up 2 kills now. They have gotten both the dragons. They've gotten the Herald. And they are, closing in on this 2,500 gold lead, looking really, really good. And when you realize it is with a lot of kind of greedy scaling setups here, things not really necessarily built for a lane, you're going to be feeling very, very good about your position, I think, in this game.
100 Thieves, man. This is that squad. I mean, obviously, they were talking a little bit on the desk about how 100 Thieves can sometimes play to the level of their opponents. They can lose some wacky games sometimes, but the level of skill on all these individual players cannot be denied.
And Golden Guardians went 2-0 last week, so they're playing to the level of an undefeated weekend.
Exactly, my friend. There you go. It's 100 Thieves stepping up, if nothing else. And currently, they are feeling great about it. 13 minutes in, 1 minute left to grab any more plate money they might be able to secure. You can see that they actually have plates off of every single one of the turrets of their opponents, whereas Golden Guardians has taken a single plate this entire time. Bottom lane turret, full 5. Mid lane turret, full 5. Only 1 on that top lane turret has been removed, and all that extra money is going to stack up. It's a big part of that lead here for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I mean, the Cole cashed in, all the plate gold that they've gotten, the additional kills, all really making a big difference. And especially if they take this third dragon, there is an enormous amount of pressure then on Golden Guardians. If you allow them to get it to soul point pre-17 minutes, like that is so threatening because the Hextech Soul is absolutely one of the strongest ones in the game. It is the strongest rift from ahead as well. as far as kind of the mechanics of the Rift, you can make much better use of these warp gates offensively than you can defensively. So it becomes really, really difficult. The additional poke and damage that's going to be thrown out there with this double marksman scaling comp is really, really frightening, and I'm getting pretty worried here for Golden Guardians.
So let me ask you then, under that segue, what do you want to see from Golden Guardians here? Because we know that 100 Thieves has the scaling. Does it need to be a bunch of playmaking like it looks like we might get? Ole immediately jumps in over the wall. He's got backup that he might be able to get away with, but Ole is just too far forward. Golden Guardians try to force it, but it does not work out.
Yeah, it's just the defensive plays kind of answering these aggressive moves that 100 Thieves has been able to do so effectively in a lot of these situations. And I do think that there is some pressure on Golden Guardians to make aggressive plays. As far as your earlier question, what do they need to do? Yeah. I do think they need to utilize this Leona and the Xin and kind of just move around the map and try to find plays, try to find aggressive moves where you're trading out a kill. But Lost, we're going to watch him die.
Oh, Lost, there's no way out of that one, buddy. It all just comes down to who they give the kill over to, and it's FBI. The Jinx getting paid 2-0 here in the bottom lane.
Yeah, I mean, it's just 100 Thieves, making the better plays, responding incredibly well, utilizing Trundle very, very effectively as well. And now, Magnar's going to expire. You're looking like you are going down.
That's exactly what Someday was looking for. He jumps in when he knows that the timer is going to run out. He knows he won't be bursted down, and he knows he's getting the isolated kill.
Nicely done. I'm not sure if the ultimate was actually used for wave clear or something like that by Licorice. I didn't actually see it used in that 1v1 unless I missed it. So might get to see that, but Someday has been running this top lane in this game, has been looking really, really good. And Trundle's making the follow-up so difficult. Because one of the nice things about Trundle, actually against Zilean, is when you are playing this, and my guess is he did use the ultimate, probably just, okay, he looked for Scoopin, but it's mostly a wave clear ultimate, to be honest. But when you actually expend that and the hop, and you don't even connect with Someday for a good trade, Someday just reads the play really, really well. There's no way that Licorice is going to win that extended 1v1 with the hop on cooldown, with the R on cooldown. Someday knows the spells are missing for Licorice to be able to fight back, gets the easy kill. Now it's the bot lane tower is going to go down, but to kind of finish up that Zilean point with Trundle, you can actually just pillar out the Zilean when people dive in, and it becomes very difficult for Zilean to actually get in range of the front line to follow up with bombs as well as the ulti, because you create this kind of big zone of separation. And if Zilean tries to walk through the pillar slow into range to do it, you can kind of put yourself in a lot of danger. You're pretty heavily reliant on your move speed, the speed ups with the E, to actually dodge a lot of stuff with Zilean to stay safe. So I think they've been handling this so well, and things are looking really, really rough for Golden Guardians. You can see objective bounties already spawned. They are going to be able to collect 2 here back-to-back, which is really nice. Cross-map play and objective trading is always going to go in the favor of the team that's behind if you're trading equally, and it's going to go massively in the favor of the team that's behind if objective bounties are up.
Well, FBI will continue applying pressure to this bottom lane tier 2 turret. Closer's going to secure the 3rd Drake of the game for 100 Thieves, no contest. Golden Guardians are saying, look, we're too far behind. We can't do anything with that. Get the objective bounties instead. That Rift Herald's going to secure them 2 turrets there in the top lane. The gold lead said 4,500 just a minute ago. Now it's down to 2,500. So Golden Guardians have done a good job making use of those bounties, collecting on those turrets. They bring a Blaze Olive into the bottom lane just in time to save the tier 2. But that means Abadaga has free reign to shoot these bullets into the mid lane tier 1, take that one out instead, and bring that 100 Thieves gold back up to more than a 3,000 lead.
Yeah, they do eventually collect those additional towers. And not able to get the tier 2 bot, otherwise it would have been much closer to even. Still, Golden Guardians going to be happy to have picked up a lot of those objective bounties, but the entire game is now going to come down very likely to this soul fight, because they gave over that dragon for free. 100 Thieves are running away with it. They're massively ahead. When you look at the soul lane gold, it's 1,500 ahead top, it's 1,400 ahead mid. The marksman's a good 1K, and you don't really care that Xin is equal on gold with the Trundle. It's just not really going to be as relevant. When you're looking at the carry rolls, that's what's super important in this game. And 100 Thieves are just so much stronger, and that's going to start showing itself in the additional item completions. So the big question for me is, can Golden Guardians get to 2 items prior to this next dragon? And can they keep 100 Thieves away from another additional completion there to try to have that fight at least be competitive, to where if they execute well, they can maybe start to bring the game back off of, a big team fight win, take a dragon, hope you can move that into a Baron or something, because they got to get something going here.
It's such a tall task talking about can they get those items online in time, because 100 Thieves is continuing to press forward. The bottom lane tier 2 turret that was barely kept alive last time cannot survive another push from the Thieves. Ole now caught out in a very poor position. He has to flash over the wall, but that's a very important summoner spell that will not be available for the Soul team fight now.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough for them to actually find that perfect engage. You know, without Leona having flash, I mean, FBI has cleanse, so ultimate, a long-range ultimate is not going to do it, right? He's going to cleanse the ulti every single time.
There must be follow-up.
You have to be there to be able to, like, flash on him, Zenith Blade him. He cleanses, you know, the Q stun right into an ulti stun or something. And since that option is now off the table, you're pretty much looking at a TP flank, and that becomes really concerning when, where's the furthest ward? Like, look at this area.
It's
just 100 Thieves.
It's pretty dark out there.
This area too. Just 100 Thieves. So I guess this is your jungle right here. You get that little spot on the map.
Well,
that's about it, and that's tough.
Unfortunately, that is on the opposite end of the map from the Drake pit, where this whole fight is going to go down.
There.
Abadaga gets away. Ole tries to land the solar flare on him, but Abadaga is fast enough to get out of that one. 100 Thieves still with this 4,500 gold advantage. Closers coming back out onto the map with those hex gates that you mentioned. Get yourself right back in there. You're not really afraid of being anywhere because you control so much of the rift.
It's also really tough where, you know, there's been so much talk about Hullbreaker, and Hullbreaker is a really strong item in side lane, but it is, people like to talk about, it's over 100% gold efficient, even just with the base stats, even without the Hullbreaker passive where you're in a side lane. Yeah, but over 100% gold efficient is not a good benchmark, and they may get a pick here. Oh, really nice.
Nicely done. Abadaga didn't think they would still be there after trying to catch him in that tri-brush earlier. Good patience from Golden Guardians.
That's a good pick. But the problem becomes when you go Hullbreaker and you can't win side, then it's like you're kind of forced to group, and then you actually just have a terrible item for grouping, and that's kind of the position Nar is in, where he can't win inside. He's going to be totally squishy in 5v5. I like this. This is absolutely a Baron flip, but you are just losing this game so hard right now as Golden Guardians. So at the very least, they get the TP out. TP is going to be matched. It looks like they just want to hard commit to the Baron.
They're
I think you have to peel.
They're going for it, man. Licorice is in here. He's got his flash. He's got his Mega Gnar. He jumps over the wall. They're not going to find the ulti on anybody, so he just goes right back in instead. Golden Guardians committed the Baron. Baron down to 2K. Ole's nearly dead. Baron is stolen by Closer, and hope dies in the Guardians' eyes. FBI gets a killing spree and a Blaze Olive is on the run. They went for the flip, and it came off tails. 100 Thieves demolish Golden Guardians in the Baron pit. Here comes Corky for one more rocket.
Oh, man, they call him Closer because he ends games, and that is the end of the hope for Golden Guardians in this one. They just hard committed to the Baron. I actually liked the initial play, but I felt like they could have actually turned with Flash Mega Gnar ulti from Licorice when they had the initial 5v4. You look at the damage there from FBI, just free firing on him. Absolutely roasting him, losing the Baron there, kills. They're getting Soul in the background because they can't close on this push. But this is going to be 10k plus, and that Soul is worth thousands of gold on top. So you're really looking at like 13, 14,000 is the real gold lead at 22 minutes.
Dude, the Jinx, that is a Jinx with Kraken Slayer. She had the Runons, she had the Last Whisper, just getting to free fire in the Baron pit. I'm not sure because it's really, really close with the little numbers in the 1 space and the 10 space. But I think FBI barely beat the entire team of Golden Guardians in terms of damage output in that fight. All 5 put together was slightly under his, I'm pretty sure. But if I'm wrong at math, that's okay. Because we're not going to need to talk about the gold lead for much longer. I feel like this game is coming to a close abruptly.
I think so too. It's going to be a tough one. We'll see if Golden Guardians can kind of just wave clear it out. Zillion does have good wave clear. Aphelios, with the right guns, has great wave clear. So there is a possibility that 100 Thieves won't want to just dive it completely. But at the very least, the game is now entirely in 100 Thieves' hands, right? It's up to them if they win or lose the game from this point. It is no longer really about Golden Guardians and their decisions in this one. It is just so hard to come back from this point. As long as 100 Thieves keep taking away the jungle, keep pushing on multiple sides, it's going to be very, very difficult. You have some really nice setup for the poke. You have Jace and Corky now at kind of a later stage of the game where they're on 3 items, and you set up for that with the Trundle Pillar. You walk forward, drop the E, massive slow, And he actually has the Pillar Max that I was talking about, where you just put some points in W, but it's going to be a dive.
There we go. Ole is stuck. He will have no way out of that one. Tier 2 turret is gone. 100 Thieves just pushing straight into the base here. The Baron play, honestly, I was cool with it. They knew that their opponents had insane scaling. They knew they were already incredibly behind. They couldn't win the sole team fight fair and square. They felt that was their best shot, and I respect the fact that they went for it, but it didn't go their way.
That's Shock Blast!
This game is over, my friends. This one is all done, except for that Nexus Fallen. 100 Thieves. They got the minion waves coming up here. The Baron enchant just about to wear off. The wave will make its way into the turrets in time to kill off one of them. Golden Guardians now has all 5 men back on the table. This could be their last stand. Licorice has no flash, but he is ready to transform, and he does have the Mega Gnar ulti. 100 Thieves continuing that push. Zillion Bombs trying to clear out some of the minions, but oh my goodness, the damage of Blaze Olive. He doesn't even get the ulti proc, so now he has to go back into the fountain. 100 Thieves looks like they will back off. Yep, Corky's going to take the Hex Gate out, so they're going to reset here. Very low mana on both FBI and Closer. They don't have a whole lot to work with. Baron is gone, so it looks like we're going to get one more reset, and then this one is done.
Yeah, 100 Thieves has just played too clean of a game. Great scaling with the Jinx, with the Corky. The job on the side of Golden Guardians is so difficult to find engages into the Trundle and the Thresh. You can see it's even Mikhail's rush here for Huhi, because he knows the only possible way they could actually lose is a pick on one of their carries would instantaneously die. So you have Cleanse, now you have Mikhail's in the background, you have Stopwatch on FBI. They kind of checked all the boxes here. They are just so far ahead. And Golden Guardians has really gotten nothing going, it feels like, this game. You know, ever since some of those early stages, they got a couple decent picks, but they haven't really been able to turn that into anything. And I don't think we've seen a Zillion ult actually revive someone in the entire game.
That was some of the coolest parkour I've seen on Summoner's Rift in a while. Just Hex Gate into Yeet Yourself onto the buff, into Hex Gate, into Closer now. Looks like he walked into 5 people, but he's immediately saved. Golden Guardians do not have the damage to burst down the Trundle. There's the Zillion revive you were looking for, but a Blaze Olive is immediately met with more CC right after he gets up. Shock Blast takes half the health off of Lost and Ole. Licorice eats a chunk of damage from it too. There's one inhibitor left standing in the base, and 100 Thieves would love to pad those objective stats a little bit on this one, so why not knock it over? Minion waves being marched in from 3 directions now. 1 Nexus turret left standing. Licorice is about to just die to the damage from Abadaga. Ole's going to be the next target as the rockets fly out, and Pride Stalker's ready to go down. Everybody from Golden Guardians is washed off the rip, and 100 Thieves get it done in 27 minutes.
It's a stomp by the 100 Thieves, man. Really good stuff from them here today. Very clean game. Across the board, they look really good.